So sad news to report tonight. Common sense has officially passed away. I'm not really sure when it happened, but it has, especially concerning our border and illegal immigration. Apparently, our politicians believe that the two of us, we're just a bunch of 4-year-olds, or we're just too stupid to understand that they're on the take. I just can't figure out yet who's paying whom. Here's the point tonight. Washington is literally lying to us on illegal immigration, and today we have the proof. We all know they're lying. How? Well, I got to tell you, common sense plays a role here. Nothing makes sense of what's coming out of Washington, and it's time we demand the truth. Here's how I got there. Two stories have surfaced to back this point up, that common sense is dead. The first one is the Justice Department is formulating new rules to allow the government to collect DNA samples from hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants detained by the law enforcement. Well, as you can imagine, everybody's coming out of the woodwork. Oh, how dare you do that to illegal aliens? Yeah, right. Let me get something straight here for those illegal aliens that might be watching the program. You have human rights. You do not have legal rights. I'll treat you like a human being and I'll treat you with dignity. But if you break into my country, you know what? I'm going to take your DNA and I'm going to put you on a plane and I'm going to send you the hell back to your frickin' country. Some reports suggest that in Los Angeles, 95% of all outstanding homicide warrants are for illegal aliens. Gee, if that's the case, do you think having their DNA might help catch some killers? Do you remember that Mexican immigrant who was known as the Railroad Killer? Starting in 1997, he committed at least 15 murders and countless rapes in the United States. Now, over the years of his brutal rampage, we deported the Railroad Killer 17 times. That means we had him in custody 17 times. We had 17 opportunities to lock him up for murder. If we had his DNA, do you think after the first crime, we could have tested that, matched it? Maybe the rest of the murders and the rapes would have never been committed. Plus, another chilling example of the government having absolutely no clue about the border. The story of the two border agents who were sent to jail for shooting that illegal alien who had a van full of drugs. The illegal alien drug smuggler sued the government for $5 million, and the two agents been sent to prison for 11 years. Now, here's the new part of the story. The Department of Homeland Security has suggested that the guys were dirty agents. They met with congresspeople and said, hey, you don't want to get involved in this. These guys are bad dudes. They told Congress that they had confessed their guilt, and they were also quoted as saying they wanted to shoot some Mexicans. Well, I have been telling you for weeks that, I don't know, there's something about this story. It's just fishy. Turns out, suspicions were true. Department of Homeland Security official yesterday admitted to Congress that the agency misled Congress when it said that it had reports proving the Border Patrol agents were guilty. The Inspector General, Richard Skinner, actually admitted that the Department of Homeland Security did not, in fact, have any reports to back up those claims. Skinner reportedly said, quote, "The person who told you that, sir, misinformed you," end quote. Translate bullcrap to English, the government lied to Congress. Meanwhile, the drug smuggler, he's free. The border agents getting beaten and abused in prison this week. Does that or anything like this make any sense to you? Of course not. The question is, why? Why is our government lying to Congress? Here's what I know tonight. Congress needs to step up and answer a few questions. They need to look us in the eye and tell us what's going on with the border. Why are you protecting illegal aliens? Why are you sending a message to our border police to do nothing, to take no action on those who are crossing into our country? It doesn't make any sense. Something is wrong, wildly, wildly wrong. Here's what I don't know. Am I ever going to find anybody in Washington, anyone who has the courage to tell me what's really going on, the courage to throw their whole party or the whole system under the bus? Congressman John Culberson, he's from Texas. He's the guy who got Homeland Security to admit that they were lying to Congress. How mad are you, Congressman?
Glenn, it's an absolute outrage. A federal official who has the authority to throw you in prison and destroy your life has an absolute obligation to tell the truth, the absolute truth, to the American people. And I and 3 other members of Congress were deliberately lied to in order to throw us off the scent, to stop us from seeking the truth in this matter. And this was last September, Glenn, that we met with top investigators with the Department of Homeland Security's Inspector General's office, and we were told flat out, as you said in the intro, these 2 agents, Ramos and Campion, are bad cops. They're rogue cops. We said, why do you know that? Because these agents admitted, we were told, these agents admitted under oath in the investigation that they went out that morning to shoot Mexicans, that they were not in fear for their lives. We heard that. Hey, rogue cops, these guys get what they deserve. Now it turns out in my subcommittee yesterday, and I'm on the subcommittee I'm on Appropriations Committee, Glenn, on the subcommittee on Homeland Security, I asked Inspector General Richard Skinner, where are those statements and are they true? These statements that were made by your investigators, sir, are they true? And he said under oath, I'm sorry, Congressman, we misled you. Those statements were not true.
So what is going to happen? I'm
going to ask for the Inspector General's resignation. I'm going to ask for the resignation of Lisa Redmond, who is the investigator on this case, who lied to us directly. I'm going to ask for the resignation of James Taylor, the Deputy Inspector General, and the resignation of Tamara Faulkner, who is the other congressional liaison who lied to us directly. And then I think Congress needs to really dive into this. We need to make sure that these agents are pardoned. I would encourage every American listening to your broadcast tonight to contact the White House, because the president has the power of pardon. And these agents deserve to be pardoned. They were using their best judgment. I've met with Officer Campion.
You know, I have to ask you something else, because there's more outrage to this story than what you just laid out. You also have Johnny Sutton. Now, you explain to me, sir, why we have the guy who came across the border. He's smuggling drugs. He's shot at by the 2 agents. The next time, after they've been nailed, he comes back again with another van full of drugs, and Johnny Sutton seals the fact that he had been arrested and pardoned yet again, so it couldn't be used after these 2 border agents at their trial. Why is someone trying to put these guys in jail?
Glenn, it's a question I wish I could answer, and it's important for the listeners to understand that Congress enacts the law, but we cannot execute it. The Chief Executive Officer of the United States, the Chief Law Enforcement Officer of the United States, has to enforce the law and protect the border. Johnny Sutton is the U.S. Attorney for the Western District. He's the one who prosecuted this case, and you're right. Johnny Sutton and the prosecutor gave immunity to the drug smuggler who was carrying $1 million worth of drugs into the United States. Twice. And now the drug smuggler is suing us, the taxpayers. It's an absolute outrage.
So,
Glenn,
Congressman, why? Why is this happening? What is the agenda of the... There are secret combinations happening in Washington. They're not telling us the truth.
I am told that when asked directly by Sarah Carter, a reporter with the Valley News in California, she's a reporter who's been following this. Sarah Carter, I am told, asked Johnny Sutton directly, what message does it send to Border Patrol agents for you to prosecute these 2 agents for doing their duty? Johnny Sutton's reaction was, I am told, what message does it send to Hispanic voters? I think that's an absolute insult to Hispanic Americans, because if you are a law-abiding citizen, you want the law enforced, my neighborhood to be safe, and my kids to be safe. We must enforce the law. We'll either have the rule of law and order on the border, Glenn, or you're going to have the rule of plata o plomo, which is the rule of the drug lords, silver or lead.
I have to tell you, sir, thank you very much for standing up for this. We will follow this tomorrow. We have much more tomorrow. You do not want to miss tomorrow's program. Congressman, we'll be following your progress closely.